Nobody took this ginger cat seriously until he did this. Not the shelter workers, not the neighbors, not the well-meaning strangers on the internet who had opinions about everything. Nobody warned them that a 12-pound ginger tabby named Simba would walk into their home one Tuesday afternoon and quietly become the most important member of the family. But to understand why, we have to go back to the beginning. Simba was not a dramatic cat. He did not announce himself, he did not knock things off shelves for attention, or yowl at 3 a.m. for no reason. He sat, he watched, he waited, and somehow that quiet was louder than anything else in the house. The family who adopted him, a couple named Sarah and Daniel and their 7-year-old daughter Mia, had not been looking for a cat. They had been looking for something else entirely. Sarah had described the last year as the year everything got heavy. Daniel had been working longer hours. Mia had started coming home from school quieter than she left. And Sarah had started spending her evenings on the couch, lights low, not quite watching whatever was on the screen. Nobody was fighting, nobody was falling apart. They were just drifting. Slowly, quietly, the way things drift when nobody is paying attention to the current. It was Mia who found Simba's photo first. She had been scrolling through a rescue shelter page one evening, her small face lit by the screen, and she turned the laptop toward her mother without a word. A ginger tabby with amber eyes and a white chest, sitting on a concrete shelter floor with the calm dignity of someone who had been there long enough to stop pretending otherwise. "He looks like he's waiting for someone," Mia said. Sarah looked at the photo for a long moment. Then she looked at her daughter. "He does," she said quietly. They drove to the shelter the next morning, all three of them. The shelter worker, a woman named Karen, brought Simba out without much ceremony. "She's been here 4 months," she said. "He's healthy, he's calm, he doesn't perform." She paused. "He just pays attention. Some people find that unsettling." Simba sat on the metal table between them and looked at each member of the family in turn, not nervously, not eagerly, the way a doctor looks at a patient before making a diagnosis. He looked at Daniel first, then at Sarah. Then he looked at Mia, and something in his expression shifted, almost imperceptibly, and he stepped forward and pressed the top of his head against her chin. Mia didn't move. She just closed her eyes. "We'll take him," Sarah said. But what happened next, nobody saw coming. The first week was ordinary. Simba explored the house with methodical patience, room by room, corner by corner. He located the sunniest spot in the kitchen by Wednesday, he found the warmest vent in the hallway by Thursday, and by Friday evening, he had mapped every place in the house where a person was likely to sit when they were sad. Nobody realized it yet, but Simba had already started his work. It began with Daniel. Daniel had a habit of sitting at the kitchen table at 11 p.m. after everyone else had gone to bed, a cold cup of coffee in front of him, not reading, not thinking, just sitting in the particular way of someone who has forgotten how to stop. The third night, Simba jumped up onto the table. He walked directly to Daniel, sat down 6 inches in front of him, and looked at him. Just looked. For a long time, neither of them moved. Then Daniel put his hand on Simba's back, and Simba began to purr. Not a polite purr, a deep, resonant one, the kind that vibrates in your chest from the outside in. Daniel sat there for a long time with his hand on that warm, purring back. He didn't cry, he didn't talk, he just breathed, and the next morning he came down to breakfast earlier than he had in months. Stories like this one exist because someone chose to pay attention. If you're still here and haven't subscribed yet, honestly, that stings a little. Hit subscribe. You'll want to be here for what comes next. Little did they know, this was only the beginning. Simba had a system. He rotated, not randomly, with precision. He knew somehow who was carrying the most weight on any given day, and he went to them. Some days it was Daniel at the kitchen table. Some days it was Sarah on the couch, lights low, the television a presence rather than a program. And some days it was Mia. Mia had started sitting on the floor of her bedroom after school, back against the wall, journal open but pen not moving, not crying, not angry, just still. The particular stillness of a child who has decided it's safer to feel nothing. Simba would find her within minutes, every single time. He would walk in, cross the room without hesitation, and step directly into her lap, all 12 pounds of him. He would turn once, settle, and purr. Mia would sit with her hands resting on his back and breathe. And then, eventually, she would start to write. Sarah watched it happen from the doorway one afternoon and felt something tighten and release in her chest at the same time. She didn't say anything. She went back to the kitchen and stood at the counter and understood for the first time what it was they had actually brought home. And then, at exactly 6:47 a.m. on a Thursday in November, everything changed. Sarah had been having a harder week than usual. She hadn't said anything about it. She had smiled at breakfast, answered emails, done all the things a person does when they are quietly drowning in calm water. That Thursday morning, she came downstairs before anyone else was awake and sat at the kitchen table in the dark. She didn't turn on the lights. After 3 minutes, she heard the soft sound of paws on the floor. Simba appeared in the doorway. He crossed the kitchen. He jumped up onto the table, he walked to her and pressed his forehead against her hand and stayed there, still and warm and present. And Sarah began to cry. Not dramatically, not loudly, the quiet way. The way you cry when you've been holding something for so long that the release surprises even you. She sat there in the dark with a 12-pound ginger cat pressed against her hand and cried until she was empty. And then she felt better. Not fixed, not solved, better. The way a room feels better after you open a window. What they found in the weeks that followed would stay with them for the rest of their lives. Because it wasn't a single moment, it was a pattern. Simba never missed. He was never early, never late. He arrived at exactly the right time every time for each of them. It was Mia who explained it best, the way children always explain things best. "He just knows," she said one evening, Simba asleep across her legs. "He knows when you're pretending to be okay." Sarah looked at her daughter. "Does he come to you when you're pretending?" she asked. Mia looked down at the sleeping cat. "Every time," she said. From that moment on, the house was different. Not louder, not more dramatic, just more honest. Danielle started coming to bed instead of sitting at the kitchen table. Mia started leaving her bedroom door open. Sarah started turning the lights on in the evening. Small things, the kind of things that look like nothing from the outside, but mean everything from the inside. Simba had not saved anyone. He had not performed a miracle. He had simply paid attention, consistently, patiently, without asking for anything in return. He had shown up night after night, morning after morning, for each of them in turn. He had sat in the dark and purred. And somehow, that had been exactly enough. Because sometimes the ones nobody takes seriously are the ones quietly holding everything together. Does a cat choose the person?